What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today I want to talk a little bit about Project L because Riot dropped both a short video and a developer's blog about what they've been working on. So first, of course, is going to be the new character Il-Aoi. Il-Aoi. Okay, whatever her name is, Il-Aoi, roast me in the comments if you want. She is the newest addition, powerhouse character. They only showed her a little bit, and the dev blog really goes into the character development process with her. But I mostly want to focus on the video here, and there are three main points I really want to focus on. So one, and definitely the elephant in the room, will be
I'm happy to confirm that Project L will be free to play.
Free to play. The game is free to play. If you are familiar with Riot games, then you should not be surprised with this, and I'm not really surprised either, to be honest. But free to play is a spicy topic in FGC and kind of in the gaming community in general, I want to say. In the fighting games, we don't have a lot of examples of free to play games, and I'm actually investigating a little bit just to see what has been done before and why it hasn't been successful. Multiverses just came out last week though, an open beta, and honestly it's killing it. As far as platform fighters go, and honestly all fighters, if you want to just include everything, it is the biggest game on Steam. It's popping off on Twitch. Of course the game is new and the IP is really big, wink wink. I talked about this at the end of last year. I think IP is really important for brand new fighting games. Honestly, they're doing a super good job, and that game is free to play. Now, the team working on Project L are all fighting game players also.
Our team is made up of fighting game veterans and folks who are passionate about serving the FGC.
And they really promise to not make the game like a predatory free-to-play game. I personally think some, like, if you're into gacha games like Genshin, I sort of think they're a little predatory. I'm not an expert on this topic, and I know you can play the games for free, and it just takes a long time. But I know it's just like a spicy topic in general. Next is the focus on ease. So before they mentioned free to play, they mentioned that
we want you to be able to play no matter where you live, what your skill level is, or how much money you have to spend on a game.
No matter where you live or where your skill level is, you should be able to play Project L. Doesn't sound very controversial, however, this has been a recurring problem in fighting games in general. This is referring to two of the common issues with player retention in fighting games. One is the matchmaking, and two is the netcode. Let's start with netcode, since that's a little easier to touch on. So, despite rollback netcode existing for a very long time, like 10 years, everyone demands rollback netcode, rollback netcode, rollback netcode. Fighting game devs in general have been leaning towards delay-based netcode. If you don't know what that is, it is just increasing the delay the more distance there is between you and your opponent. I'll put a link in the description below to a video about delay-based netcode versus rollback netcode if you're really interested in that. But at this point, rollback netcode is mandatory, and the people have been shouting and screaming for it. Guilty Gear Strive, my main game, started as a delay-based netcode game and then changed to rollback netcode. People have been begging for another game that I played, Dragon Ball FighterZ, to have rollback netcode as well. Basically, at this point, I think it's mandatory, so I'm really glad they're just sticking to their guns on this one. The other one is about matchmaking. Well, there tends to be three issues with matchmaking in fighting games. One is that the ranked is really easy to use and intuitive, but the filtering is not that good, so you have a lot of cases of newcomers playing like super advanced players and veterans. Two is sometimes they'll just try to do something really different. Guilty Gear Strive does this, and while I think the tower system, which is not a traditional rank system, it's a system designed to funnel advanced players to play with each other extremely quickly and not let them go back to play beginners. I think it's a good idea and concept. It's still not perfect, and the lobbies honestly still, even though I can tolerate it because I like the game, they're kind of trash. Let's keep it real. And the third usual issue is in some games matchmaking just doesn't work. Frankly, some games just doesn't work. So having these two issues solved will help so much. Now, again, going back to multiverses does a good job of being both. Sure, sometimes the netcode gets funky, but overall it's rollback netcode. It's really good. Matchmaking is really good and really simple. You can just hop in, queue up, and just go, you and your boy, if you feel like it. Project L doing a good job of this would be a huge help for the game for sure. Now, the last thing I want to touch on that they touched on is the actual game itself, right? So I know you tend to expect from content creators people yelling, jumping, popping off, whatever. I'm not really that type of person. I really want to just see what's up with the mechanics of the game. They did mention that they're done working on core mechanics and their focus is on characters. So while I can have some patience about the mechanics, I'm very interested about characters. So one, I'm not really familiar with the Riot League universe. I've never played League of Legends. I remember there was like that KDA thing where one of the characters was a pop star. That was kind of weird, but also I didn't play the game, so maybe it makes sense. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what characters they bring from League to the fighting game. A potential worry though, so people may not be happy with the roster. The last team game I played, or I should say the first team game that I ever mained, was Dragon Ball FighterZ. That game released with around 24 characters and now is sitting at around 40 something. But this means, since it happened over the course of the years, that half the cast is DLC. 3 seasons and then lab coat. I want to say maybe I'm missing a couple characters here. So half the cast DLC. Sheesh. A more fair comparison might be Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite released with 30 characters and ended with 36. So my questions would be, are characters free? Are new characters going to be free? The game is free to play, but is that going to be one of their monetization strategies, to use new characters to get people to pay? I don't know. And then 2, how many characters are going to be in the launch roster? Because unlike a 1v1 fighting game, for a 2v2 or 3v3 game, you kind of do need more characters just so there's a lot of combinations for people to experiment with. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, the character development process is quite involved. Again, definitely read the developer's blog if you're interested in that. I think if this game drops with like 20 characters to start, it would probably be in a good spot, seeing how it's a 2v2 game. Another thing that kind of works in favor too is that in team games, the characters tend to be more homogenized / basic. So once they have like a kind of core, like this is the base character of Project L and this is the basic ideas we want in a character, they can kind of quickly pump out characters and just tweak as they need to, which is kind of nice. Usually people are not happy when games come out with small rosters. They definitely have an assumption that rosters should be very large, usually because at the end of a fighting game's life cycle, they come out with some type of championship edition or final edition, which has all the characters in it. This happened in Street Fighter, BlazBlue, basically every game has something like this. So when a new game comes out, people are like, oh, well, the last one had like 40 characters, now you have like 15, what happened? A game that I like a lot, actually my favorite fighting game ever, I should say, released with only 13 characters. It's Persona 4 Arena. Not the one that's on PS4 and Steam right now, but for PS3 and Xbox 360, the original version. Again, it takes a long time to develop characters. At that time, ArcSys was using high-def sprites, and it was honestly just a grueling process. So I actually wish the devs here at Project L good luck on this one. But yeah, those are basically my main thoughts for now. Really looking forward to seeing more actual matches and discussion on the mechanics in the future. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.